Would you like to steal that?
Yeah.
How do you like my privilege? How would you join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're all friendly on our faces.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. So first, I just want to say thank you to everybody who attended our annual dinner. Again, I really wanted to be there, but COVID had other plans. So thank you all again for attending. Hope you had fun. Loved you, Divine. Murder.
I'm guilty as charged.
Amazing Karen.
I really was guilty right from this point.
So thank you for everybody who was there. Hope you had a good time. Sounds like it was fun. This Saturday is pastels on the park at Newburgh Park. 10 by 10 squares are available for a $50 donation for 2 Parks and Rec. Prizes will be awarded to the top 3 designs. The fun starts at 10 a.m. If you would like to donate prizes, please contact Emily at the park's office. Chili cook-off, back in downtown, baby. We had our first official committee meeting on Friday at like over hot dogs. We're working on the final rules for the application. So as soon as those are done, we'll have the application available. Pretty much as it's always been, $25 clean fee, July 11th, Monday. Cooking starts at noon. Chili cook-off starts at 5:30. We'll announce the winners around 6:30-ish. So we'll have people's choice tickets, so support your favorite chili and support the chamber at the same time. Also, this Friday at 3:30, we have a ribbon cutting for Powerhouse Garage. They are located at 459 South Fortuna Boulevard next to Chacarita Market. Next Wednesday the 15th is our return to in-person mixers with our mixer host, Freshman 8th Street. We will be inside and outside on their back patio. They'll have tons of scrumptious food. We'll have 4 prizes, 50-50 raffle, so be sure. Anything you want to add on about your mixer on the 15th? It's going to be lots of fun. Here it's fun. And then next Monday, our program will be Leanne Langston from the Area 1 Agency Licensing Program. So with that, I'll turn it back to you for our community announcements.
Thank you. Iris, want to give us an update?
Sure, it's quite a long council agenda, and I realize, when you have people considering running for council, you shouldn't have these type of long agendas. Lesson learned. So, there's a number of items on consent, noteworthy are just a call for the municipal election, remind everybody to vote, those are due tomorrow, I think. Addition, so fee schedule change to update the fee schedule for different skating charges, pretty minor. Adopting Central 1, there's a couple of roadways that were identified for use of that SB1 fund, one is Fortuna Boulevard, and the other is portion of Vertical Road, portion of Fortuna just south of Newburgh, the northbound lane. That's one of the areas we're going to use over SB1 funds. Updating the community development block grants and the actual amount, and that's for accessibility improvements around town and for rodeo grounds. Adopting the 5-year capital improvement program, which is all the projects that the city does in an annual year, the pay rate schedule for part-time employees, and adoption of the city budget. I just know that the city right now is, there's already been a couple of budget workshops in the city on the verge of adopting a balanced budget, which is also a good thing. Construction contract for generators for 2 of our water facilities that are pump stations. A budget request to come up with a process for determining DMT or vehicle miles traveled. Essentially, the city has to have a way to quantify how many, per capita, how many miles people are traveling, and you analyze their sequence, have a way to demonstrate that you're not creating more people miles travel. So it's a result of Senate Bill 743. So once it hits from the state, that we're guided into a way to reduce that. And then there's 3 items for edited on the agenda. The first one is the annual report, which under administrative highway code. So there's an annual report that's required. The second one is the intent to review the assessment. And then the third is municipal code changes to the ordinance that creates EPID. And the biggest change, just put that out there to a small group, is that the EPID board is essentially resigned or winding down the nonprofit corporation. So the changes that are being proposed with continued assessment, and then the city will take it on the function of EPID, whether they do it in-house or they contract it out with another entity, such as a chamber or another organization. So that should be interesting tonight to see. But at this point, it's really just updating what's already happening with the board resigning and nonprofit. So all the cities will have to take it or have to go away. It seems like right now, council and the community wants to see that move forward and have that funding continue to go as part of it. And then the second reading, lastly is the second reading of the city's organic use ordinance. I talked a little bit about that in the last 2 readings, but this will be the second reading that was the ordinance.
Cool. Thank you. Bob, do you mind, would you like to give us a Rotary?
Hi, yes. So yeah, there's only 4 shopping days left to get tickets for the red, white, and bluegrass. The river is open, and it looks to be a very fun event. It's at the barn by Fern Bridge, because we were also looking to do the spacing thing, and they were available on our date. And this promises to be fun. A nice live auction, albeit not a super long one. So if you're like me and like to go home before it's too dark, do that kind of event. So, but I understand the bartender is quite a live wire, so there is a full bar unhosted. And what we're going to miss, you get tickets at either Tri-Counties Bank or River Capital Bank, so we brought to the town for you for convenience. Remember seeing you guys? Great fun on the
What's the menu?
Some delicious, what is it? Prime rib. Yeah. How much is it really changed by? So it's going to be the next folks to continue to us and are helping out there. So that'll be tasty, and we've got live bluegrass. It's the compost not what. All right, we're here to done. Tickets are $75 a pop. I've got it rich. Yeah. Merle, the bird donkey.
Yes.
Be there for photographs.
Very happy, Bob. Merle the dog, Renee, gonna be there.
I know. I clearly need Isn't that enough?
Not really. We'll have our guest, Film Commissioner Cassandra Hesseltine from the Humboldt-Del Norte Film Commission.
I know, it's been a while since we've done this in person. But it feels like yesterday at the same time. I normally don't do it up here, so it's a little awkward. But am I getting the microphone up? Is that
You're
good?
good, you can move it closer to you or up or, yeah, that,
There we go.
that, all that, I got it.
How's that? All right, well, so we're gonna tell you some similar stuff that you already know. We'll tell you also what we've been up to lately. And so, most of you already know what we do, and that is we are the liaison between film productions and the area we represent. There's over 50 film commissioners in the state of California. There's ones in almost every state, all the countries. Sometimes there's regional ones in the countries, like Norway has like 3. And we all have to operate at no charge. Our services have to be free to the movie industry. And and what we do is we have 3 main focuses that we focus on, and you'll see that as we get through the rest of the slides. That we help try to attract production, and then when they're here, we ground that help them with all the things that they don't know, the resources and how to keep them here. And then when they leave, our third focus, and sometimes that brings in more money than the original production, is film tourism. All right, now you're fine. Now you're reading. So we had some really cool productions that came this year, and even in awe that we've been over this whole time, I think last time we presented was on Zoom, so you got to hear about productions a year ago, but still it's been in awe that how much has been happening and how much happened. So earlier this year, we had Vogue magazine come and they did Lorde, who's a famous singer if you don't know her. And so she was down in southern Humboldt and they spent a couple of days there. And this just kind of shows you what happens when, they come to shoot, magazine. There was 2 nights stay, they filmed for 2 days, crew size was about 20 people, and it's about $20,000 just for something small in the sense of what their shoot was, but then the impact is large because it's Vogue magazine, so it's really exciting. And this is also similar down in southern Humboldt. It was like a week later, so funny, all of a sudden everybody wanted to film at Black Sands Beach. We had also the famous photographer Annie, can you pronounce her last name for me? Leibowitz. I cannot get it when someone else says it first. So she normally does people that are like famous actors, singers, but she did connect with Hyundai, and so they went out during the pandemic and or towards the end of it after things had opened up and did this little campaign for Hyundai. And so again, 2 nights at Benbow Inn, they filmed for a day, set crew size of 12, it was $10,000, for them to film the area. So it's nice when we get the little ones. They might not be the same thing as the 2.1 million when a movie comes in, but these add up. And so it's lovely when they do that. And then again, they put it all over their social media. And then this one was really great. I don't know if you've been watching this one. It's out now, but it's a beautiful TV series. We've wanted one for a long time. This one fell into their laps. They approached them. So we were really lucky about that. And we helped them. They filmed actually during lockdown, during the pandemic, and then they came back and filmed later. So they filmed it a couple of times. Before they launched it. So they filmed about over a year. It must have been 2 years ago, I think it was. So it's amazing how long it can take. But it was worth the wait because I don't know if you've seen it, but it was beautifully done as far as the way the look of the area is, and then the way that they have Eric and Viviana and their 2 daughters. And so it's a lovely testimony to the area where we have this show. And we have to help bring in money. They filmed here for 37 days. And then this is a letter. We don't often get these, and if we do, we usually won't ask for them. So this came unsolicited, which we were really excited and proud of. And this was, Nature Valley's granola bar. And it was, they got snowed out. This was just,
It was April.
In April, they got snowed out. And we ended up in an hour. I had an appointment. I had to reach out to Nate and say, Nate, By the time I'm done with my equipment, I want to know, you've moved them to Moonstone Beach, and the things you had to do in order to make that happen. But when I got out, I was like, yep, they got their permit, they're now at Moonstone Beach, and we didn't lose, Nature Valley Granola Bar. So this will be a great commercial when it comes out. They did film in our redwoods. They were gonna be filming up in Newland, but that's where they got snowed out, so then they went to the beach, which is better anyways, it makes more sense for the area. So they had 2 nights, 2 days, a cruise that was 50 and spent approximately $30,000. Mostly, just hotel stays can add that up. So the film activity, and this was this doesn't include May, even though we just got into June. So this goes up to April. So this shows you the inquiries, people interested in coming to the area, the scouts, because the scout brings in money when they come in and scout, because they stay in our hotels and our restaurants. And then the filming projects. So this again doesn't count May. And so the impact estimate dollars was 257,000. We always have a little plus some more often do because sometimes numbers haven't come in, so some of our projects haven't reported back yet. But after you add a multiplier, it becomes more like a little over $750,000. Which is nice because it's been mostly smaller shoots, so with no big movie. That's how I said again, how they all add up. So it's lovely. The impact in the past 11 years prior to this fiscal year has been approximately 12 million in directly. That's direct spend on hotels, hiring local crew, permits, locations, cast. And then when you add the multiplier, that's them having days off, going out to eat at dinner, because often they don't get dinner on set, all of those other things. The impact is more like 36 million that we feel before the money leaves the area. So what we've had slated, it's been really interesting. The one thing that I have noticed, and I don't know if you feel this too, usually when productions reach out to us and they want to come, then, they either decide to come or not come. They start working on that and then they'll come. We don't usually have ones that linger or take a long time. I mean, we might have had 1 or 2 in the past 10 years, but because of COVID, we've had one start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And that's been, we've had 3 indie films that did that. 2 of which still saying they're coming back. One has moved on to Louisiana. And so that is an indie film, one of the indie film featuring a well-known actress. They just had in their family a crisis, so I think they're postponing that now. They were supposed to start shooting in June. There's another indie feature film with another celebrity that will be supposedly coming in January, but they've started stop as well. So we're excited for both of those. And then the 2 big ones that I'm really, really excited about, and we're happy, they've also started and stopped because we've been working on these for 3 years, pre-pandemic. What the 2 are, one is supposed to film at the end of the summer. That one now is looking iffy, so we're a little disappointed that one may pull out. The second one is being written for this area, and that one is looking pretty much like a for sure thing, unless something crazy happens with that one. So that's the only difference that we've noticed is we have huge projects and a whole bunch that want to come here, which is what everyone thought was going to happen coming out of the pandemic, is that everybody would get more production, especially in California, that they don't want to travel, they don't want to go anywhere, they want to stay closer to their family. But we're finding that they're starting and stopping a lot, and things are, they're having a lot of budget issues. So I was in a meeting on Thursday where they said it's 20 to 30% now increase to make a project. So they're having a lot of budget issues, which is what the studio feature film that was supposed to film at the end of the summer is seeing right now. And they've said that we had this film for 3 years, but now they're saying based on budget, they might have to go elsewhere. So we're very disappointed if that happens. So everybody just keeps good thoughts. But they'll still want us, they came here and loved it. They came here and scouted a couple weeks ago, and they absolutely loved it. So it's perfect. But they're trying to work things out with the studio and see if they can finagle it. So we'll see. So I presented this last time, but I've been showing this to everybody again this year, just kind of as a case study to show again when a feature film does come. So just to let you know, when the studio feature films come, they do much bigger impact. They can do gigantic impact. Especially the one that wanted to come was talking about $20 million, and it was direct dollars in 6 months. We've only done 12 million in 11 years. So if you can imagine the amount of impact and the amount of disappointment I would have if they leave. But the other feature film that wants to film next summer will also be sizable. This one shows you when it's an indie feature film, which is what we predominantly get a lot of time, more frequently, we get indie feature films. And they can drop a couple million, especially when they shoot the entire feature film in our area. So this one did, and that's a good example. I can't see it. But it shows you, maybe look at some of these numbers. Like Longine alone was $750,000, or no,
Yeah.
750,000, yeah, $750,000. You know, they had, these are just their hotel nights at the 2 hotels that they stayed in. Plus they also had Airbnbs for different people that were here the entire 3 months that they were living here. So it's just a good example of how much the money goes out into the community. Local vendors was 425,000 out of the 2.1 million. You know, what's local crew, 190?
Yep.
So local crew is 190,000. They cast over 500 actors, background actors that were in it. So there was a whole bunch of people who were paid to, you know, sit around. All right, next slide. And this is also from last year's, but it's really good, a good representation again to show you like $500,000 went just into, so the other one was actually 2 years ago, the movie Pie that we just looked at. This is from last year, and this is all the hotel stays. So we had 500,000 hotel stays last year that were reported to us. Doesn't mean that there wasn't, because that's actually the other thing, is sometimes the northern parks, so Trinidad North is all run by federal parks. And sometimes they issue a permit without notifying us that they're issuing a permit, the production maybe doesn't realize that there is a film commission, sometimes they don't ask for help. So we might not know that there's actually more productions that are in town that do spend a lot of money, which is great. So these are all estimates, but it was approximately about 500,000 that the hotels received last year just on film alone. And this year in May the 4th, as in May the 4th, be with you. We did that one, and we talked about this before, that this was an idea that had been long coming. About 10 years ago, I was folding laundry and brainstorming, and my best brainstorms come from folding laundry, because I hate doing laundry so much. There was a map that was created in the 80s by a gentleman in conjunction with the Visitors Bureau, and it was called the Map of the Movies, and it, you know, was a great map of just Humboldt County at the time, and on all the ones, you know, the films like Outbreak and Majestic and all those. And so we updated it about 10 years ago, and then we added markers, and you have a marker here. And we've added Del Norte County on it, and so we modernized it, obviously. And then we went and put it on our website, and then we created an app. And so we've been fulfilling all these, you know, boxes that we're ticking off, all these boxes that we had ideas of how to keep expanding Map of the Movies and making it a true film tourism activity. And so one of them was to have some type of like Return of the Jedi Day or festival eventually. So for instance, there's one down in Orange County that just happened, and I believe the one in Florida still exists, right? The huge convention that they do in Florida.
They move it around. Star Wars Celebration moves.
Oh, so that is the same
Yeah.
one. That's the same one. Okay. So they'll have people from all over the world travel to go to these celebrations, you know, and of course ours would be slightly different because theirs is, you know, all about the whole movie industry and has all these different panels, where we had this idea of like, let's celebrate the fact that we were indoor, and we were indoor for Humboldt and Del Norte counties. So we had to put that on the table, and about 3 years ago, right before the pandemic, we even held a meeting with a whole bunch of different our funders and sat and talked about how do we make this a, you know, bi-county, big, huge event, and then the pandemic happened again. Story of our lives, right? But as we were coming out of it in December, I believe it was, the zoo reached out to us and said, hey, we're thinking about not doing one of our other events, but we are interested in doing a May the 4th event. Would you guys be interested in that? And we were like, of course, because this would start up what we had been trying to create, was this bigger event. So we did it as a baby event. We launched it, obviously on May the 4th. It was great. We had 2 sides to it. So we had the daytime, 3:30 to like 5:30, where the after school program came, and it was at Sequoia Park, and that was a free event for the kids. We had a gentleman who played an Ewok in the movie Return of the Jedi. We also had people who were dressed up in costume there, marching around and taking pictures, and it was really adorable. And there was all kinds of activities for the kids, Jedi training courses and things like that for them to do. It was amazing. And then at 6 o'clock, next door, 6 to 8:30, we did have the zoo inside, and that was 21 and over. So there was cocktails of, like blue color and all the different like cantina type things from Return of the Jedi, as well as again, Kevin, who played the Ewok, was there. We also had a symphony that came together made up of teenagers and adults just for the evening that played the Star Wars themes throughout the night. We had a DJ, and it was really fun. And we really think that, the next step is to go bigger with it. So we're really excited about it. So keep an eye out for that, because we're going to figure out soon how to launch that between the two counties and get everybody invested in and have outside tourism come. That's just a letter from Elizabeth and it's great working on this. So then again, going on the app, I don't know if everybody, I don't know if you've seen it, I don't know if you have it on your phone, but if you don't, get it. It is available for Apple and iOS as well as Android. And it's just literally called Map of the Movies. You'll see our little, you'll recognize, I think this part shows up on it, right?
Yeah.
So you can see that it's us. And not only does it show you where all the things took place in the Humboldt-Del Norte counties, but it also tells you the restaurant nearby if you get hungry, and the hotel that you might want to stay in. So if you have like one favorite movie you came up here for, what's your guys' movie? What's the one that's here?
There's two.
There's two. What is it? There's
There's An Evening with Beverly Loughlin, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
at Bob's,
Which we need to
and then there's the other one, I can't remember the one
that
that.
is the other one I was thinking of. That's like right down.
Let me open up the end.
But let's say you wanted to go to the tree markers here in Fortuna because you were like, oh my goodness, I love Good Evening with Beverly Loughlin, because who doesn't like a weird movie? And the older movie that is called
A Death in Canaan.
Canaan. If you wanted to go to that place and you're like, well, where can I eat now that I'm in Fortuna? Fortuna restaurants will pop up on your app. Oh, where can I stay? And guess what? All the hotels down the street will pop up on your app. And so then you can stay. So we added that feature because again, it's film tourism, and a lot of people do come from out of the area. We've had over 30,000 people before the app.
It was 225 views or downloads on the website.
That's with the website.
Yeah,
So what the Google, did that count Google Maps for the map?
that was Google Maps, yeah.
Oh, that was everything. So it's over 200,000
Yeah,
views, and that was before we made that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been very popular. We made over 70,000 brochures that we passed out. We were doing like 10,000 a year. And everybody, including the state park, said it was always their number one brochure that would run out. They're right next to their head. And the state parks have told us a hilarious story where they actually taped the last one down to their counter because people kept stealing them all, and so they taped it. That one got stolen. The tape got stolen off of their counter. So we finally had to make the app so that it's just everywhere. And so we're working right now on a grant to get to be able to create some more collateral material. So we'll have little signs for the hotels and for your office and places like that, and the airport as well, a big stand. So that way, with little QR codes, that way people can just download the app and it's available to everyone. And we are the first tourism app tourism app as far as we're aware in Humboldt County. And when we looked around California as well, we didn't see any other film app like this. So we might have been the first one to do that as well. So we're pretty excited. Yeah.
you want to talk about SF Gate, that's fine.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we'll talk about that. We got, it's hard to see it sideways. So that's because of May 4th, May the 4th be with you, they contacted us because we have the locations of Endor in Humboldt and Del Norte. They contacted our office and asked some questions of like, hey, where exactly was the filming and can you access it? Because they were doing an article at May the 4th. And so he told them about the app and it got featured in the SF Gate paper for the app, as well as he mentions the Jeff Goldblum shoot that was down here. I think anything else I'm missing that you'd
No,
like
that's
to?
it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks for keeping me on track. So we do all kinds of things in our office, you know, besides helping production, you know, we try to bond with different community partners and anything film obviously related. So Napoleon Dynamite was touring through town, and I was asked to do the Q&A and introduce the two actors from Napoleon Dynamite. And if you've seen the movie, which you know I grew up on with, it was pretty. They were very fun. They didn't need me. They were just fine. You know, they were little. So that's Napoleon, obviously, and that's Pedro. Yes, both for Pedro. So yeah, they were great. And I think we talked about this last time as well, but we added a few more since then, and we're hoping to continue to add this. And this is a really great tool for anybody who wants to get into filming and work in crew, or you maybe have a child who does, or just interested in how it works. And so we created during the lockdown, when we were actually locked down, Meet the Expert video series. So, you know, if you want to know about set decorating, Lori, who actually used to work on Saturday Night Live for 20 years, and she did all the set decorating for the movies that they would make, that they would show on the TV show. They live here now. And so she let me interview her and her husband also as well. He created how you have like the pizza when it comes out of the oven and it steams. He does props, so he does that. It's really interesting. These are really interesting videos because they teach you all this stuff. We even interviewed, is it Jim, who is the stunt coordinator, and he taught us about how before they figured out how to not actually have a car hit you, you got hit by the car. When they needed somebody to be hit by a car, they actually hit you, and you had a 50% chance to get to the hospital. And he invented how you do the film backwards, and you roll off the car, and then you rewind it and play it backwards, and then it looked like the person got hit. Like, it was crazy. There's all this amazing footage that we have in here that they tell you like what their job is and their experience, but then if you're local, how to get into that industry and what you should be doing. So we sent this off to Humboldt County Education, and the high schools can use it, the colleges can use it, and anybody local can use it. On our website. This list has been going on for about 2 years now, and it's just basically the past 10 years. It's all the other things we do. And I don't expect you actually to read it, it's just that you can see, like, these are all the other things that we've been doing. And one of the other things that we did is we also did get a grant from Headwaters to do another fan tour. We did put that on hold because we had so much going on this summer with filming, or with the thought of filming, that we had to put that on hold, but it looks like we'll probably do that possibly sooner than later. And you know, some of the other things that we highlighted before was that I was president for 3.5 years, and now I'm a media past president, or actually as of till last Thursday I was, but now I've been voted back on the board for Flix. And Flix is the film liaisons in California statewide, and so it's all the film commissioners in California. And we work closely with the California Film Commission. So they've asked me to come back on the board. I completed, I'm an international certified film commissioner now. As we mentioned before, but we love saying we are one of 5 most outstanding film commissions in the world for Disney production. And about 9 months ago, I think it was, I was the moderator for an Emmy panel for the producers and directors that have won awards in our Emmy club, or what would you call that, organization? And they had a panel, Why You Should Film in California, which was really an honor what they asked me to do. Again, all the things we do for marketing, and there's so much of it, and with an office of 2, which is why we might look tired. So yeah, with staff of 2, we have board members, interns, volunteers, which we are bringing in our interns and volunteers again now, advisors and community partnerships, and yeah. So tomorrow we actually have a retreat that we are going to be doing just close by actually. And we are going to be looking at what programs can we handle, how do we keep doing this with an office of 2, and how we're going to keep moving forward with all this production that's interested in us and all the activities that we're doing. So if you guys have any ideas or thoughts that you ever want to throw at us, let us know. We are going to be focusing on the Return of the Jedi event type thing. I mean, we're thinking about calling it, what was it, Endor? No, not Endor. What was the moon?
Oh, it's Endor is the moon, but we're thinking.
I know that, but what was the name? What was the name?
The Forest Moon Festival.
Forest Moon Festival, yeah. So obviously, if you guys have any ideas about that as well, let us know. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, do you have any questions?
How do you get funded? Do you get, funded, or you just do this for free? I know. But, you get, I know I just read something that the city has,
Yeah, so traditionally, what film commissioners around the world can be any type of office, so it can be, like, we are a nonprofit, it can be in the Visitors Bureau, it could be in the chamber, it could be a government agency, so it could be an county, it could be a city, and so around the world, they are like that, they're all different. We're a little bit more unique being our standalone nonprofit, a lot of times they are with the other ones that I just mentioned. So how we get funded is we ask the entities that we represent. So we start off obviously with the county, City of Eureka, City of Arcata, Fortuna Chamber, Humboldt-Del Norte Alliance, and then Del Norte as well. Yeah, so that's our current funding situation, and then grants, and we just keep, bringing back what we do, and people keep giving us money, and it's great. We'd love more money always, because ideally we would have 4 people in office. We're working on trying to get a 3rd in office, because we are starting to get a little tired. But yeah, that's how we. Yes.
I might cover this, but do you have any interest from foreign filmmakers?
Yes, we do. Actually, we just had a French documentary reach out to us. A lot of times, like a lot of the nature documentaries will be foreign. Europe a lot of times, sometimes we're getting Japanese commercials that want to come here. Not so much like an independent feature film or like film movie. We don't get that so much as the whole group, but maybe someone on the team is, a foreign filmmaker themselves, but the teams are usually more of a United States based. But we do get foreign crews and productions for commercials and documentaries. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.